We should be good now. I took a minute and forgot about a couple things. So let me just make sure a couple things are clear on this end. Make sure I don't have anything open that should not be open on either screen because I don't want to cause shenanigans. Hold on, I gotta post some go lives real quick. Yeah, because I don't do go live on social media as much anymore because trying to coordinate it across several social media platforms is like tiring. Hey, Shan. Hey, Shan. Hey, Cat Wizard. Hey, everybody. How y'all doing? Hopefully well. Happy. What? Hold on. When did we hit Qua? Hold on. When did we hit? Todo a fucking minute now. When did we hit 20%? Sorry, I looked and I noticed it because it said 17 when I was looking like a little bit ago, and I completely missed it, and now it jumped to 20, and I'm just like, wait, what? When? What? So hang on, give me a second. I need to. Sure. Thank you so much. I deeply appreciate it. This thing, for people who don't know, I've been trying to look for a job since I left my job like last June. Um, I'm more or less coming like to like the last little bit of runway that I have. So I'm doing this for. I've been doing this all April. We have like another, I guess, 7 days or something before um, close it down. Um, the whole point of this is that if we make the goal, that puts me that helps like put me over as far as like making sure that I have a little more time before I have to start like dipping into like other things in order to like keep things together. Um, and now that thanks in large part to Squishy's very gracious hand in the pot, that puts us at our next milestone, which is why wouldn't I? Why wouldn't I if I could? Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. But that puts us at our next. That puts us at our next milestone, which is a playthrough of what's the word I'm looking for? It's a playthrough of Pokemon Crystal, not from the start, but I already have a save file for Pokemon Crystal where we cleared the Elite Four and did the first half of the game basically. Now we have unlocked at some point in the future a run where we do back, which is Kanto. Gym leaders are all leveled up from Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow, all that other stuff. Whole new world we live in. It's a whole new way to see. I'm technically doing it backward because they didn't start that song until they went into Johto, but you get what I'm getting at. So, thank you. I deeply appreciate it. If we can get some exclamation point hype in the chat for that, because now we're at 20%. And also, because I forgot, Squishy, thank you for the resub earlier. I deeply appreciate that as well. Really and truly. If I seem like kind of like lost for words and everything, it's just because I'm grateful. things are a little scary and a little tough. And like doing my best to kind of like figure out next steps here and next steps there and all this other stuff it's a challenge. But I am doing my best. You know? So for everybody that has my back, whether you're lurking or whatever it is, I deeply appreciate it. Thank you very much. Yeah, the plan for today is not really to do a lot of work on Shoot Lancer because basically, for all intents and purposes, the deadline that I was working toward recently. Oh, right, yes, incentives also. If you don't have any in mind, it's fine. Don't stress it if you're like, oh, I just wanted to do it. But if you do have any incentives that you want to like cash in, feel free. Thank you, Shark, for the reminder on that. I was a little bit overcome by emotion and my brain kind of just like... But, right. Insofar as what I have planned for Game Dev Stream today, probably what I'm going to do is... I'm not going to do anything like new in terms of like new Shoot Lancer features. Not really. Mostly because the thing I was saying before I recaught my thought was that I recently hit an internal deadline that we needed to hit, and I kind of don't want to mess with too much until a couple of other things move and shake. So shit, that's what I forgot to do. I need to do the actual go lives in the other spots. I said I was gonna do it, got deeply in my feelings, and then completely forgot about it. So let's try this again. All right. Well, first of all, I need to make sure that we're on the right monitor. When I get into a job and I can afford to get monitor arm, like a monitor arm and a second monitor, I'm going to be very, very happy. Just because it means that like the Hainu, which is the computer that is actually handling like the OBS stuff, that only needs one monitor because I'm not really doing a lot on that. But for Ariel to have two monitors means that I can like go back to like doing things like leaving things that I don't want y'all to see on another monitor on Ariel, so that I can like sit and like watch and look at what I'm doing on the other monitor and not cause like shenaniganry crossovers or anything like that. Make my life a lot easier. I miss having two monitors a lot, but when I got Ariel, her graphics card takes different inputs than the Hainu's does, so I can't do a dual monitor setup like I prefer when I'm working. But that's like a it's on the throne / I will worry about getting that once I have once I can afford it, sort of deal. You feel me? So that's a whole other thing there. So yeah, I do have some news that I can't share yet, but when I can, I will, and it will be very exciting. It should be very, very soon, like within the next day or so. But I can't, not yet. I've been asked to like keep it hush for a little longer. If you're in the Gilded, you may theoretically know about it. Shh. If you're in my Gilded, you know about it already. If you know where to, it's not a secret there. But if you go look in Gen Chat, it's there. That's a secret for later. Um, right. I posted the thing in precisely one spot and then forgot to post it in another one. ADHD is rough sometimes, y'all. Really, it is. I am doing my best, and sometimes I am just suffering sometimes, and I have to be upfront about that. Okay, no, okay. That's there. I'm gonna do it in one more spot, and then we should be good. I am sorry, my brain literally just sometimes empty and not. My brain sometimes just goes completely. Put this. In. Yep, exactly. The friend DA. You already know. But yeah. Did someone? Oh. Someone. Thank you so much for whoever contributed to the new monitor. I deeply appreciate it. That will be up for like a hot minute. So if you're like, oh, when am I gonna have time to like? Literally, it's gonna be on my phone for like 6 billion years. Whoever did, thank you very much. I do appreciate the contribution very, very much. Uli with love. Oh goodness. Anyway, so here's the plan. I'm gonna play through Shoot Lancer and what we have with Shoot Lancer. I'm not gonna make any major coding changes to it or anything today because, like I said, we just hit a deadline with that, and I kind of don't want to like go mess around in the guts of it right now. With that in mind, I kind of just want to like sit and let it chill and let it cook a little bit before I worry about tweaking it again. There are things that I'm there are things in my head that I can immediately think of that I'm like, yes, I should. Hang on a sec. Okay, right. So had to just do that thing real quick. Okay, so right, like I said, the plan is to go over Shootlancer stuff into where it's at now, and then we're gonna spend a little bit of time tweaking at a little bit of something that I have just kind of on the side that I've been kind of like working with to get a feel for something different in Godot that is still kind of important. So let me not waste any more time because I know that those ads are flying toward us. Rapid speed. So hopefully I don't have to restart the capture card. I might have to. I might have to because shenanigans. But let's see. Yeah, I do. Hold on. Or at least I need to poke it a little. Waterfall ASMR. Well, are y'all getting sound? 'Cause I'm hearing it from the monitor like I'm supposed to when it transfers over, but I'm not entirely certain if it's getting. Okay, hold on. All right. Yeah, I just got to restart the capture card. Hold on a second. This time, thankfully, it's not like a full shutdown like last time where I had to stop, like stop OBS and do a bunch of other stuff. Thankfully, okay. I know it's not going to show anything video wise yet. I need to. Whoops. Yeah, I literally almost switched screens. Yeah, case in point, right? Like it is very easy for me to like just reflexively switch screens um, with certain things when I shouldn't, without double checking to make sure that that's not live right now. Hold on. Oh right, I didn't fully reboot the AverMedia yet. I was like, why am I not getting anything? There we go. All right. Okay, here we go. We should be okay now. So, the major thing is that for the internal deadline, I just had we had some royalty-free music that I went ahead to go and grab, just to make sure that because the music I was using previously is we can't like use that in terms of like any other kind of like promotional ish materials or things like that. Right. So I went ahead and replaced with some royalty frees as part of the deadline that I had to make. As you can see, my music and sound effect things work fine. You can also like go forward and back in the menus and all that is good. Yuna was also kind enough to like sit down and slightly redo the art for the backgrounds, so it's a little more high contrast and stands out a little bit better. There are also additional sound effects that were missing previously. You get you do get like sound effects when you like pick up power-ups and things like that. Right now they all use the same sound because you know, trying to keep it simple. So that is one thing it looks like I'm gonna have to fix. There's like we're getting a little bit of parallax jitter in the background, probably because I probably set up something a little bit incorrectly with some of them. So, like if you notice like a weird jump while it's going, it's because I didn't set up the. I have to double check the parallax settings. So yeah, that's pretty much where Shoot Lanter's at as far as like how it's progressing. So I need to now make a note of this thing because that's important for 710 fixed parallax both stages. I probably have to then make a new build, and then I have to probably make a new build for deadline purposes also. So I'm just gonna fix that real quick, do that thing, and then we'll talk about viral core busters and how to and what that looks like work wise. So let me take a look here and let me just double check a couple of things. So no, I think the mirroring is supposed to be mirroring. I think is supposed to be the entire length of actual. That might be my fault. I think the mirroring is supposed to be the length of the entire. Of the entire thing. So, yep, that's 3200. These are also 30. Yeah. So grab the parallax from here, get rid of it over here, and then drop it off over here. So basically, the main reason why we were having the issue that we were having just now when we were playing it is because with the way that parallax backgrounds work in Godot, the idea is that for each one of these like sprite 2Ds that are under it, I have to look at the size of the sprite and make sure that the mirroring part, right, matches the length accordingly. If I don't do that, shenanigans happen, but not the fun kind. Like the oh yeah, that's not a good idea kind. So It looks like it still causes a seam in some spots, but that's just something I think I have to talk. It's weird because it seems like it only causes a seam. Hang on, I'm gonna turn off. I'm not gonna try to like fix this right now, but I do need to like actually sit down and understand why this is happening the way that it does. That is not ideal. So yeah, it looks like the seam. Okay, so that's where it is. I gotta tell you that because it looks like where the seam actually happens.
Sloppy.
Shut up, Leo. Anyway, it looks like where the seam, and this is my fault because now I actually understand what's happening, and I can tell now that I'm actually paying attention. I can tell where it actually is. So before I forget, let me go do that actually. All right. So yeah, now that I figured that out, that's a thing I can talk to Yuna about and see how to do. Because basically, right, if you look very carefully, you see how this section over here, right, looks completely fine. Like this part does, and then there's like the little split right here. It's because Godot repeats it in like sections of two, basically. So if the second and the third section don't line up, that's where it causes the seam. And that's the part that I didn't realize because I couldn't see it. But now that I can see it, it's one of those things where it's like all we really have to do is make sure that the second and the third one line up correctly. Um, then we're good. But um, yeah, now it's just that part to figure out. Anyway, so I say all of that to say, um, insofar as Shoot Lancer goes, that's why like we're not working on it too tough today because like I just finished a deadline for this, and there are a couple of things that we kind of need to like stop and like take a chill at and take a look at before we go forward. I am gonna have to rebuild. I'm gonna have to make a new build later for the things related to what we were talking about. Um, 7:50 Okay. Properly diagnosed. Yeah, so basically just the hard part is like we gotta make sure that we just have to figure out a proper way of like getting the third segments to not to line up properly, and we're good basically. But that is a thing that I have to talk about. Um, that's the thing I have to talk about with um, Yuna at a later point. Anyway, so with that handled, uh, this means that now we're not like done with stream, but I'm gonna switch over to a different project. So, people who have been around the stream for a while know that there was a project I was working on previously. There's a project I was working on previously called Viral Core Busters over in Unity. And I could go back to Unity and continue working on it, but with the way that like even with first of all, I realized Vallejo, hopefully you're doing well. I'm sorry. I completely forgot to ask after you when you came in, after you did fucking shenanigans, and I was like, I'm just gonna and I was like, yeah. So yeah. Viral Core Busters was a project that I was working on prior to Unity deciding to kind of like listen everybody's cornflakes about like how it is that they wanted to run their stuff. So with that kind of being the case, I was just like, okay, then forget y'all, I'm out. And so for a while, I put Viral Core Busters kind of like on the back burner for a bit. But now that I've got my feet under me and Godot a little bit more, I want to like sit down and really like go back to experimenting with it. So unlike a lot of the other stuff I was working on, that's been basically just uh, like Shoot Lancer, for example, is all 2D, right? Viral Core Busters is 2.5D. Where the idea is to use the idea is to use it's one of those things where I was like, yeah, I want to do I want to just like get a feeling for how to work with 3D, but still mostly like keep everything 2D-ish, you know? In terms of like camera angle and all that other stuff. And so Viral Core Busters is more or less that. And now I get to learn how to figure out how to do all that in Godot, including like things like camera movement and things like that. So that will be fun. I'm not expecting this to like take off in terms of like what's the word I'm looking for? I'm not looking like, oh yeah, this is our next project. No, nothing like that. This is me literally just kind of like playing around with the this is me playing around with the actual this is me just sort of like playing around with the way that Godot handles 3D to try to just get a feeling for how it is that this works, right? That is pretty much literally all I'm really aiming for. And so to that end, right? All right, so we're gonna reparent to new node. We're just gonna do this one, and we're gonna just do terrain. So yeah, really, this is more me kind of just like fooling around and trying to just get a feeling for how some of these things work. Okay, so probably at some point, writing like actual like slope stuff is going to be curious about something. Okay, yeah. So yeah, slope movement is not something we're going to be able to handle immediately yet. So we're not gonna. We're not gonna worry about some of this stuff yet. Like getting like movement on a slope and things like that is very tricky in platformers for various reasons. There may be ways to do it easier in Godot, but we're not going to deal with it. Right now, the main things I kind of want to just like sort out. Mostly just I want to look over the code that I have and kind of figure out a couple of things. So we're going to save and close, and we're just, well, honestly, this is player Toro. Honestly, it is her. So let's just start with that. All right. So we have that. Really, I kind of want to split. So we have the pivot, the hitbox. Let's see. Want to do child node. We're just inputs. Child node. Take that. State machine. States. This is more for later, more than anything else. State idle. Like I'm kind of just like sort of laying out a couple of things that I know I'm going to need at some point. Like we're gonna need a state machine and player states and things like that. Inputs. Scripts. New script. Player input script.cs. We're gonna just do public vector2 player public static vector2 player direction input get input get protected. I did see the donation that just came through on the Ko-Fi. Thank you very much. Do appreciate it. I will check what was redeemed and go accordingly from there. Region. It's going to take me a minute to remember how signals work. Public abstract void event. Public jump There we go. Delegate. So looking for delegate void. Yep, pressed event handler. Hack pressed event handler. Okay, let me go see what it was. I saw that we got one, which means that there may be maybe like thing I have to also redeem accordingly. Let me see. Page, come on. Okay. I see. All right. So I granted. All right. So yeah, the thing that we're doing here is mostly hang on. There's a way to do this in Godot. So let's see. Godot set vector to from inputs. That's what it is. Gets the inputs from move left and right, as well as up and down. Move left and right. Look up, down, and save. Negative y is left and right, down, up is what it should be. Okay, cool. The reason why we're doing this, and this is something that I probably could have done for Shoot Lancer, and might do for Shoot Lancer, now that I have sort of hit the point mentally where I'm like, okay, no, I can like actually sit down and think about this in like a reasonable manner, right? The plan for Shoot Lancer is probably, if I go back and do, the reason why I'm doing this setup is because there are different sort of schools of thought about how you handle this, right? For a simple game, you don't really need to like separate out these inputs the way I am. But in my case, right, having the inputs sort of live in their own script and sort of like fire their own events and things like that makes it a lot easier for me to sort of like dictate, hey, if this is pressed, right, you just have to go to this spot to check where those inputs are coming from, blah, 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 etc., right? So public static vector 2 previous move put get protected set. The reason why I do protected instead of private is because on the off chance that I need to like, I don't think I'm gonna ever have to like inherit something from player input script, but protected means that if I have to make a derivative of player input script for whatever reason, it will inherit these without any real issue. Okay, cool. So that's handled, right? Okay, cool. And then I'm just going to do one thing, gd.print pair directional input. It's not going to do anything yet. I just need to see a particular thing. So before we do that, I need to come back over to the project though and go to project settings. I go to input map because here's the important part. I need to actually add look up and look down, right? So look up, I need W key for that, as well as that and this. And look down is S, as well as this, as well as this. So Godot is very nice in that, like, move left, move right, look up, look down. It's also very easy to sort of like reorder your actions and everything, as well as like map multiples. Pack is the X key. So, all right, cool. Oh, I didn't attach to anything yet. So over here, right, if you're like, where did the code go? I forgot to attach this. So it should work now. Whoops. Okay, good. Okay, good. Okay, so yeah, direction, thankfully, we can derive from something entirely different, right? So the player input script should only handle inputs. Let's be entirely clear about that, right? I am not going to put like a direction variable in the player input script because it's not the player input script's job. The player input script's job is just to sort of. I could specify direction, like the current direction with that, but that is not the player input script's job. So we're going to do this, and what we're going to say is direction.z is equal to player input script dot current directional input dot x dot So what this lets us do, right? So the basic idea here is relatively straightforward, right? The direction z here is used to represent z here is sort of meant to represent like forward or backward. So the idea, and this is why doing this in 3D is a lot harder. Notice z right here, right? So z is the axis that we're moving on when we're doing forward and backward in 3D for Godot, right? So z here is forward and backward. And so what I've done here, right? So what I've done here is that I've made sure that we're getting input directly from player input script and using that to determine, right, how we should move and not, right? I can break this out into like a different state later to be like, okay, right, do this or do that or things like that, right? So the reason why it's useful to have player input in its own script is because, for example, I can do something like, okay, in player idle state, if the current directional input for X is not 0, then we need to switch states, right? I can do that in the idle state just by accessing player input script dot current directional input dot. I can normalize it or not normalize it. It doesn't really matter in this case. Like, for example, right, I can even just straight up do this. Normalize it, right? And then go from there, right? This basis property thing here makes it so that we turn in the direction that we're moving. And because we normalize the direction up here, right, this keeps us from like skipping and going too far around one way or the other. right? So some of this is just like me trying to like set the stage for certain things ahead of time. I don't have to worry about it later. Okay, ad break is coming up. All right. While the ad break is going, I'm gonna go into. I'm gonna switch over here real quick and go dig into a couple of like backroom things. Gonna grab some code that I wrote and okay. So just a couple of things I need to grab. I'm not rewriting this code like twice. Scripts, create new folder, system, script, create machine.cs. I know that I don't have the state script yet. Actually, I should rename this. I know that right now we're not on that screen. Like, I know that because I'm just waiting for the ads to finish. Okay. All right, cool. Finished. Okay. And I think we should be in a good enough state that I've gotten the relevant things over here. Okay, cool. So come over here. Base files, create where states, create new folder, shared. Script, player state, idle. Base. Just two things to make it a little easier. Here, player state base is state, and then state idle is player's base. Make my life easier. All right, cool. So a couple things here, right? We have our inputs still going, and that's all well and good. Node, cool. Player state idle. Here's what we want to do. Well, here we're just going to do player. So export protected player input script, player input script, player input script. Right, build it. The reason why we're doing this is so that we can make sure that there are a couple reasons for this, right? We just want to make sure that we are on the off chance that it's like maybe I do something with like multiplayer. Not that I'm saying I will, but on the off chance that I'm doing something with multiplayer down the line, I would prefer to make sure that we are able to get inputs from the correct spot, right? So player state idle is this, right? And when we enter player state idle, we're going to do something very simple. We're going to do public override state, public override on start. So when we first enter this state, oh, no, wrong spot to put it in. We're going to leave it alone in player state base, but in player state idle, what we're going to do is we're going to come over here. Okay. Forgot to do that. That's why it was getting upsetty. So here's what we're going to do. So player input script node dot jump pressed. So here's basically the way we're going to do it. For Viral Core Busters, it probably makes more sense to have each individual state for the player sort of manage which things it does and doesn't react to when we enter and exit the state. So for right now, I'm going to set up a thing where I do, okay, if we jump, then do this, right? Player input script. One more signal. We're going to do... move horizontally event handler, right? And now we're going to do if cur dir input dot x does not equal 0. Hang on. Emit signal. Signal name dot so the reason why it's important to have the signal emitted is so that, for example, in the idle state, we can make note and say player input script node dot moved horizontally. We can assign it, right, an action. Where it's like, okay, if you hear this, this is the thing that you need to do. This way, for example, we know, okay, right? When we enter the idle state, right? If we enter the idle state, then the thing that we need to do is go, all right, cool. We go to the movement state at that point, right? If we're idle and we're standing still, and then we happen to move horizontally, we move to the move state, right? So create new script, player state move. Here we're gonna do player state base system.collections.generic because we need that for certain other things. Cool. And then what we do is public override on exit. We just want to make sure that we okay. We just want to unsubscribe it when we leave, right? So let me move down here because we're not going to do that yet. So make sure that switch to move state if and the reason why we unsubscribe unsub accidentally change states when right. So the reason why we're doing that, why we do minus equals, is to make sure that when we're leaving the idle state, we're not still subscribed to, staying in the movement state. We want to avoid that. Oh, we got another one. Let me go take a look and see if there are any. Hold up. If there are any things associated with that, because I saw that we got a donation. Anything I. Yeah, it doesn't look like there's anything associated, but thank you so much for the donation. I deeply appreciate it. If there is a incentive that you wanted to go with that, and you're like, I don't want that out on and I don't want that out on like I don't want that out on like Ko-Fi or anything. Reach out to me via DM if you have one you wanted to redeem, but just like I don't want that out publicly. And But yeah, thank you so much for the donation. I deeply appreciate it. We are now at 22% of the way. 22% of the way. Yeah, I deeply appreciate it. Thank you. So we have our facings here. I gotta go grab target velocity. Okay. Script. No, this should know its own. Okay. Okay, script here. We're gonna do. Okay. Grab this real quick. Yeah, that's the tricky part now. Because movement, technically speaking, right? I want to make sure that I'm not doing movement in two different spots. It should all be in one spot, ideally, because otherwise, shenanigans will happen. So for right now, I'm going to move all the code that is dealing with like that movement stuff over into here. Oh. Yeah, okay, that's going to be an issue. So let me sit down and think this through for a second. Because it did not occur to me until I sat down and did all of this that I gotta sit and think this through for a second. Because the main thing that we want to make sure that the main thing I want to make sure that I get correct is that obviously we need to be moving when we're in the movement state, but I need to make sure that I properly integrate a couple of things. Okay, for now, I'm going to have it and just leave it alone. And then, let's see. Public override update state. If Nope, I don't even do that. I can use the if player input script dot. Well, I guess I can also do this. Hold on. I can go to player script and I can do public on ground get turn is on player state base. I can do export protected inputs protected player script node. Reason why we're doing this is relatively straightforward. The idea is that a player state should know about. Hold on. Yeah, like ideally, right? Oh, I don't even need to make it. I don't even really need to make it into a variable. I don't have to do that. I can just come over. Nope. I don't really even need that. That's extra fluff that I don't need. I can just have it do that. Then we'll come over here, save that. And let's say just for my own sake emotionally that I would like the state machine to do state debug. That would be helpful. Oh, I didn't. Haha, guess what I didn't do? Okay, hold on. You don't want to do that though. That's not right. So hang on. Move horizontally. Yeah, because we shouldn't be able to enter. should not be able to enter movement state from the movement state. That's the interesting part. I'm going to try something real quick. Because it may be that using those signals might be causing a little more trouble than I'm expecting. I'm going to see what happens if I don't. Just do it old-fashioned and don't do the signal. See if that causes the same issue. Yeah, there we go. That controls it better. Okay, cool. So, now that we have that, that's cool, right? We don't have to mess with that. Now the next thing we need to do is, let's see, need a jump state. Over here, it's gonna that player state, jump, base, idle, move, jump. That. Okay, let's see here. Player script. Target velocity.y is private. So what we're gonna do, public void no, actually, keep it simple. Okay, let's see here. So what I'm doing here is trying to set up a thing where if you're in the idle state and you press the jump button, it will attempt to check, hey, can you jump or not? Right? And right now, we're not going to do anything with that. So let's come over to the player script. Over here in the player input script, we do need to make sure that we do if script. If input that action just jump. Cool inputs. The reason why we're doing it like this, even though we're gonna store the current directional input, even if the inputs are disabled, because on the off chance that somebody is like holding a button or something while the inputs are disabled, we want to make sure that we're keeping track of that, and then we like release accordingly. All right. Do export. I keep doing the wrong thing by mistake, and I keep testing the individual scene, which is not what I want here. Okay. Oh, I forgot to set a couple of things. Player state jump. Or what's the error? My name. Player state jump. Did I not? Oh, I didn't set the player state machine. That's my fault. Player state machine is this thing. Okay. Okay. Let's see what we have here. So yeah, this stuff is the tedious part, but We just got to kind of take our time and work it. So let me see here. Oh, huh. That's an important check I never did. There we go. So, and I have to go back and add this now to Shoot Lancer also to make sure that you can't change into the same state that you're already in. That's not a thing that we want to be able to do. If you're already in the state, then you should be able to maintain in that state without switching back. Generally, anyway, right? Hang on. Okay. Well, it looks like the main thing that's happening is that it is still attempting to Because yeah, ideally the way that I would prefer to do this is that the signal is just emitted, and then all I have to do is subscribe. So print. Or in this case, gd dot print. The idea behind this whole emit signal thing, right? And the main way that Godot works is that nodes should have a way to be able to do these things. Okay, so let's see here. Now it's just an empty else. It doesn't seem to be causing any major issues because of the stopgap that I put in, so we can probably make do with it doing that. Okay, I see. One other thing I need to do. Hey, Sabira. What's working on today? So, Shoot Lancer, we hit a milestone, so I'm not, aside from like one other thing that I am gonna need to debug in a little bit that I don't really want to mess with right this second. We're letting Shoot Lancer kind of sit for a little, just for this week, because there are some things TM that I figure I gotta wait on before I like mess around. Before I mess around with more Shoot Lancer stuff, aside from like maybe one minor bug fix that I needed to kind of rock with. Yeah, we're kind of just relaxing, and I'm poking around trying to get this thing done. Mostly just as like I need to sort of like figure out, or I want to figure out how this thing works, and so that is what we are doing. The only thing is that I want to know why it is that they're going into idle from jump when I said it's probably. Is on floor. Check this only do. Probably not what I want. I need to double check something. Velocity is measured in which direction, Godot? I don't know, which means I have to go look. I think positive, negative. It is measured positively. Okay, so then that means that if it is less than or equal to 0 and you are on the floor and you are not, I think that should do it. Basically, I'm just trying to make sure that this How are you doing, Sabir? Hopefully well. Parent state. That's good. Idle. Okay. Idle move. Alright. Which means that probably state. So you do switch over. Basement finishing nonsense. And when you land, yeah, so that's not good. Okay, this probably means that the clever idea that I had is not going to work. If input dot action just press jump, I just got to do this the old-fashioned way and stop trying to be clever, which is a little sad because I was hoping that I would be able to be clever, but I don't think that works very well. So here's what we're going to do instead. We are not going to be clever, and we're just going to do this the old-fashioned way. Yep, we just got to, yeah, looks like the best way to get the most consistent behavior is to just do it the old-fashioned way. By old-fashioned way, I basically mean that I have to manually throw in things like checks and changes for being able to jump or not and things of that nature. Okay, so states. I just need to make sure that we're not doing anything silly that we shouldn't be doing. Here, jump. Good. That limiter is still working correctly, at least. Good. So we don't transition out yet, which is not what we want. So I'm gonna come over here and in the player state jump. Here. Update state. Very simple. Or this is probably maybe a physics processing thing, maybe. Let's try it. Well, very simply. Alright. So, if I did this correctly, what this should do is, and the reason why I'm doing this now, even without animations, is because I want to make sure that these state transitions are about as clean as I can get them, even if it means I have to be like old-fashioned. Good. Whoops. Fell off. That's a funny way to go. Alright, so let's try this again. Source tree, please don't open up. We're gonna ignore that. Good. Okay. So why is it... Hold on. Then that's not the right spot to put it in, I don't think. That might have to be a physics process thing. Let me see. So and this is the reason why I waited until I had a little more experience under my belt with Godot before I started messing with this idea. Because now I have a couple of ideas of what things to look for, now that I'm not trying to learn multiple things about the engine at the same time. Yeah, so for whatever reason, that is not kicking in the way that I would like. So let's take a look here. So I could also just do because it looks like the main thing is that the integrations aren't quite catching up here. So there are a couple ways I can handle this. If I go over to the player script, I could, after velocity and movement slide, do some determinants here. So, okay. Let me try something else here. So we're not even going to have that there. We're going to come over to the player script. We're going to do this. Okay. All right. I broke something else. Hold on. What is the thing that you are angry about? Oh. That is the thing that you... I'm like, what are you angry about? Bad internet, but wanted to tell. Okay. Thank you, Kettle.
Sloppy.
Hey, what even prompted that, though? Like, you can't just throw out sloppy just to throw out sloppy. Like, what's the reasoning, though? Okay. Still not quite. That's fine. Now, why?
Yes. Are you okay?
I'm just focusing my brain power on trying to figure out why the state transitions aren't working quite the way I want them to. I'm fine, so don't worry about me. Get from idle to move, fine. Idle to jump works fine. Hold on, I wonder. Is it out of sync because... Now that's in physics process. What about the other ones? They're not.
Power tank.
I don't know if that will actually fix it. I doubt it, but it just occurred to me that this is probably... Okay, hold on. Yeah, okay, hold on. Yank that out. That's not working either. So, let's see. Hold this. It should probably stop that flood of debugs. Yeah, that's what I thought. So, okay. Huh. Okay, then that actually belongs back up there. That belongs in there. Now my only question is, why can I not enter move from jump? Why is that not happening? That's the part that that's the part that's like scratching at my brain, something fierce. Okay. So for 1 second, I'm gonna just turn off debug on the state machine and just trust remote and my eyes. So state debug is currently off, so we're not gonna get a bunch of debug messages. I'm supposed to have to just trust my eyes. Okay. I may have also been a silly and put the code in 2 spots. Why this wouldn't work because I'm putting it in 2 spots. So hold on a second. Okay. Which means that that's not happening at all. Okay. Oh. Also the state. It's because the state name isn't. Hold on. Right, I said that there are no debugs, which means that I have to trust my eyes. I said that out loud and then did not remember that because brain is braining. The remote, all I have are my eyes. So, over here. All right. Okay. So based on this, it would seem like okay. That's interesting. Okay, well that answers that, I guess. So, from what I can tell, right, it looks like the number of jumps is reset at the moment that I jump. Hold on. Let's track this down. Okay. 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 Something here. Why am I not getting even like an ow? I'm not even checking if it's on the ground, right? Why am I not getting an ow even? I wonder if that's it. I don't think that's it. But that might be it. It might be that you're not supposed to check whether or not you're on the ground until after moving 5 it. That has happened. Okay. So the main issue I'm running into right now is that for whatever reason, I cannot quite seem to figure out why. I can't seem to figure out specifically where in the state machine we're having the particular issue that we are. The problem that we're having is basically that part of this is because I turned it off just to like figure out how it works. But apparently, right, like we're not even processing what the current state is correctly over here. So yeah, like I'm basically just trying to get this thing to I figured it out. Hey, you know what I spent this entire time realizing, and then I realized that there's a reason why I did this? Alright, if I may direct your attention to the state machine, you'll notice that the current state name is in all fucking caps, right? If you look over here, you will see that that is the thing that I am not checking. Because I am not doing it in all caps. Because I have apparently completely forgotten how my own code works.
Sloppy.
I feel on the one hand like I should protest that, but it's not entirely false. On the other hand, alright, that was a little much. Now I feel a little self-conscious about it. I'll be honest about it. Like normally, yeah, I can laugh it off a little, but in this particular case, now I feel a little self-conscious about it. Alright. Yeah. It was one of those things where it was like I was trying like this is not me saying, oh, right, like I gotta be a perfect programmer, I'm no good, but it's more like, wow, I really missed that for like the last X billion parts, didn't I? So yeah, I know you didn't mean anything bad by it, so you're not in trouble, but just like, I'll hold that for something like a fighting game thing, but like for programming stuff, it's a little, it don't rep quite right. Anyway, now that I've like fucked around and undone a bunch of stuff and was being a little bit reckless about it, I now need to like put a couple things back together and see if I can figure it out. I'll do it back here, and I'll just do... The reason why I did it with capitals is so that I wouldn't have to worry about case insensitivity. I just didn't remember that that's the way I did it until just now. Okay, let me see here. Yeah, I got. Like, to be clear, like, I don't, like, I'll be straight up in saying that I got. It was just that, like, I also feel a kind of way that I literally missed that like 3 times, despite looking carefully, um, or thinking I was looking carefully anyway. So, yeah, we're not quite there yet. I know I undid some of this on purpose to try to figure out the problem. So I expect it to be broken now because I undid some of the things I was doing to try to figure out what I was forgetting to do. So, okay. Over here, come over here. Change state by name. Okay, it's here now. So try jump is doing that thing, but now it's not kicking off. So let me see here. Dot print. Make sure that we're even making it over to here. Because it doesn't matter here because I already set up a contingency that forces the state names to capitalize. It only matters when I'm checking what state I'm in, not when I'm changing. So for checking them, I can literally write whatever, and it'll capitalize out anyway. But the main thing I'm trying to figure out now is why I'm not going into the jumping state. So we have idle, and that's fine. Okay. Idle, move. Okay. You're going over there, but now why is it transferring? I think I have it. I think I know why now. Which is fine because it means that it's doing the thing it's supposed to do. I just need to move it one other spot. So, well, no, is on floor. Right, then why? Damn it. Hold on. Pull it out of there. Moat. State machine. Okay. Idle, move, jump. Good. So now the only hard part is getting idle, jump. Good. Idle, move, jump. Good. So I probably need to just check it and jump, I think, is probably the safest place to do it. It looks like it's not doing it there. So we're going to get rid of it out of here in the player script. We're going to do it over here. No, stop trying to autocomplete it for me. Jeez. If player script node dot is on floor, gd dot print. Oh, there's a reason for this. Because doing it in the actual player script itself seemed to be causing issues. Okay. So, hold on a second. Cut this. Get rid of this. Okay. Player script over here. Okay, velocity is over there. Inside that. Okay. So maybe I do it before the move inside. Okay. Because the part that I seem to be having a tough part figuring out. Okay. So there's a short period of time, it looks like, where you're still counted as on the ground. There's a short period of time where it looks like you are still counted as being on the ground before you take off. And that might be part of what's causing some of the shenanigans, I think. Jump. I don't move, jump. So yeah, the only hard part now is just getting it to figure out, or getting it to realize that either way you need to be, you gotta move. Because it looks like, right, the moment that I cross over input, I leave the jumping state. Like the moment that I cross over the input from where I'm already going, I leave the jumping state. And it should be making the move, like even if I'm holding in the same direction that I was already moving, it should kick that. All right, hold on. If right, that's what I named it, right? Player state jump. Yes. Okay. Okay. Wrong one. Right one. I'm gonna do remote. State machine. I just wanted to check. I just need it. If I see it, like, yeah. So you see the. Okay. So yeah, it looks like it's doing the on ground. All right, let's see. Okay. So for this, it makes sense to do this. Fine. Okay, that's fine. Okay. The only thing that I am having a time trying to now get sorted out is mostly okay. I may have to hold it. I may have to just hold that L because I'm trying to think through why it wouldn't. If I do this, let's see here. Yeah, like it really only seems to check for that at the start and not the end of the motion, which means that if I'm making the correct assumption anyway, it sort of just means that I'm gonna have a harder time checking when I should be right. This is the part now that basically we have to figure out. Because going idle move jump works fine, right? But once I've landed, right? That's the part that's not working correctly. Where when I've landed, right? Each frame you should first call move and slide, and then after that. Okay. Well, let's see this person. All right. Yeah, I was wondering if it's also like an order of it's like if it's like an order thing. So, well, hold on. They said always be applying it. So let me see something here. I think that might. So what I just did there is probably not the best idea, but I'm thinking about something. That's what it is. Yeah, that's the correct behavior. So I figured it out. The main thing, and this is now that I'm looking at it, it's probably still not going to. Yeah, it doesn't do that yet, but I'm gonna try to uncomment the code that I commented out, and I think I'll have it. And I think if it works the way that I'm thinking, then I should be able to explain what happened. Hey, Stubby. Good to see you. I am back and I am so tired. Oh, There we go. Okay, perfect. Thank you for the resub, Stubby. It's like what? At this point, it should be... Did I remember that right? 46 months, not 48 just yet. But, thank you for the resub. Deeply appreciate it. Okay. But did you have a good time? Tired as you are, hopefully wherever you traveled, hopefully, yeah, mostly, Okay, so we don't need to go it debug anymore because we figured that part out. Okay, good. That should also be okay. Right. And then player script. Right. Doesn't anymore. Mostly I want to try to minimize the amount of like funny, silly things that player script has to do. I really want player script to mostly just focus on physics interactions for the most part. And then I just kind of like selectively control what parts of the physics I want to work or not work depending on what I need. Okay. Now we gotta leave it over there because if I leave it in the player, if I leave it in player jump to figure it out, then it looks like it doesn't integrate it properly. Which is fine. It just means that I need to drop it out of here, come over to here, and put it back over here, basically. I could probably just do a switch to make it easier. Switch. Machine current state state name. Player state machine dot current state dot state name. Case jump. Yank that one, and you should be okay, I think. That. All right. It's not normally convention to do curly braces for states, but for states in a switch. But I prefer to because it just makes my life a little easier in terms of being able to read it. Case player state that jump. If you do either of those things, then fine. Bam. Cool. All right. But I am glad that you are back safe, and it is good to see you as always. Jump. Yep, jump. Jump. Good. All right. Okay, good. Very, very, very good. So we can get rid of the goit over here, and then in the player input script, I no longer need to like signal that. I think with this set up correctly now, I might be able, and with the thing that I fixed. So the other thing that I fixed to talk about it and what was happening. So over here in the player script, what was happening is that the velocity was not being updated. The velocity was only being updated when we were in the air, and it stopped being updated when we were on the ground. So the game had no way of think of it like gravity the way it normally works, like in the real world, right? With the way that the code was set up previously, with the if statement around the vertical velocity part that you see here, it wasn't actively pushing down on the character, so we didn't know. So like when we were on the ground, we weren't on the ground per se. It didn't realize, oh, we're on the floor because there wasn't any force pushing us. It's like we were floating a little bit above the ground. But now that I've done this, where it's just always applying the target velocity no matter what, we should be good to go on that front. Okay, so we should be able to do bop, 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 bop. Good, and all that still resets, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that's the only thing we have to worry about now, is that acceleration accumulates, which I think I know how to fix. So if we're on the floor, we just need to make sure okay, hang on, so velocity dot y equals. Okay, can't do that. We're just gonna do target, so we're just gonna do target velocity dot y equals 0. So I think that will fix it, but I'm not entirely certain. So the main issue we were running into is that with that happening, okay, so 1 Mississippi. Yeah, that fixed it. So the main issue that we were running into once the velocity is like, once the gravity is constantly pushing, is that without forcing the gravity to reset while we're on the ground, it accumulates, and then when you fall, it just applies all at once. But the thing I just did stops the gravity from accumulating while we're standing on the ground, so that when we do fall, we fall more naturally, right? So I should note that. Forces target velocity back to 0. I don't think we even need to like maybe put it at the end. Well, let me just take it out and see if it even affects anything. So yeah, we want to just force the target velocity back to 0 on the y-axis so that let me just make sure that that didn't break. Yeah, it looks like that. Yeah, we're still good on that front. And yeah, you see how that fall looks more natural as opposed to when I did it a couple of steps before where it's just like, boom. That's our proof that the gravity isn't like accumulating excessively while we're standing still, which is what we want to avoid, right? But now we also have it like properly doing all that other stuff. Right. So it's not the jump state's responsibility to check certain things. In fact, we can probably even pull this out of here, I think. So public override. I want to see if this will work now. On start, and we do player input script node dot jump pressed is this. And then over here, we're going to do this. And we're going to do on exit is hang on. Public override on exit. Oh, that's why, because it doesn't have that. Exit, we're just going to well, actually, one better. Cut this. Idle state. When we enter the idle state, we should have that. Jump. Remove it from here. Just want to. Mode state machine. Let's turn on the state debug and let's see if it's still trying to push us. Yeah, nope, it's still doing it. So, all right, cool. Gotta leave that alone. I thought that doing that would help solve that problem, but no, it just kind of like that's just gonna be a thing. So I need to just let that be. I need to put it. I need to put it back just to this. All right, so then let's just do it one better. And over here in the player input script, do region. This is export and region export player script node. All right. Then make sure that I didn't cross any wires. Then I have one change to port over from this over into Shoot Lancer, just as like a safety thing, and then we should be okay. Try jump. I don't want it to be repeating a couple times, so pull it out of here. Yeah, I only want it in one spot, which is here. Gonna need that for later. Okay, cool. Nope. All right. Last shot, because basically the only thing I wanted to make sure of was okay, good. Bug. All right, let's go. All right, good. All right. Okay. I might be able to get away with it. So what I'm gonna do actually is undo the change I did in State Machine over here. I'm gonna leave it alone in Shoot Lancer, because there might be one particular instance where yeah, so you can't enter the jump state twice, but because of other safeguards I have going on, it doesn't really matter as much. Okay. Very good. So yeah, you can enter the jump state twice, but in this particular case, there's nothing that like necessarily affects that or causes a particular problem with that. So for now, we can let that rock. Okay. Let me take a look at when we're gonna get slapped by cursed ad. Okay, 846. So we should probably cut it here, because otherwise I'll get caught by the ad gremlins again. All right. So Shoot Lands are probably back next week. Like I said, I mostly took a little bit of a break from it because we hit a major milestone recently-ish, and I didn't want to go poking around in the code too much with that and like bust something when we're in a spot where we need to kind of like let it sit and be a little cool. Thanks for coming by, everybody. Deeply appreciate it. Thank you to everybody who donated, because now we've hit 22. Thanks to the generosity of several people who came by and did things while stream was going. So that puts us a little bit over $400. I haven't looked at the exact number, but it's like I can literally go do that right now. I'm saying that as if I cannot go look. We are at... Yeah, we are at 445 right now. Good night, everyone. I'm kind of thankful. So yeah, we are at around $445 right now. With the 20% past, that means that at some point I'm playing Pokemon Crystal and I'm going to get my shit pushed in by all the Kanto gym leaders. And it's going to be a great time whenever we get around to doing that. So thank y'all for all the support so far. I deeply appreciate it. It is going to keep going until literally the last stream that I have where this will be running is going to be Sunday the 28th. After that, it'll stay open until through Tuesday, and then next week Wednesday. By next week Wednesday is basically when it closes. Of course, it doesn't like stop people from like continuing to like give via Ko-Fi if they're like, well, it's over, but I want to make sure that you've got like whatever you need. Ko-Fi is the best way to do that. I keep more of that money. But yeah, I'm gonna do a how it goes with Godot post sometime in the next day or two. Probably closer to Friday, if anything. So you can go to cohost.org for that, or to check out some other stuff that I might post about. I have past game design articles and things up on medium.com, and I'm not using it anymore, but I have a couple of those there for like posterity. YouTube has all the stream VODs for all the stuff that we do, so if you missed the stream and you want to catch up, go to youtube.com/@sjsgames. Go-Fi link is for this thing. Self-explanatory. My card has all my other social media links, so if you kind of want to like check that out, check those other things out and see, right, if the stuff I do on the other platforms vibes with you, then feel free. But really, I mostly only use co-hosts. And if you want to hang out with us when we're not like doing stream stuff, all good, Shark. No worries. You can come hang out with us in Gilded if you want to like get in on things like anime watch parties and other like things that I don't talk about necessarily on stream right away. That's what the Guild is for. Simplest way to put it. That's pretty much all I got. So I'm gonna go see who we're gonna go hang out with, because it is about that time, and I'm trying to make sure that I don't get fucking snatched by ads. I got like 8 minutes before that happens. So yeah, I figured Dave is on cooldown. Talia, Kenzo's doing that. Theory Space is doing that. Domino is doing that. I feel like I haven't been to go visit Domino in a while, honestly. But we haven't been to Peas either in a while. No, I feel like we've been to Peas at least more recently than we have to Domino, I feel like. So huh. Oh no, I must have no. Because Domino had their birthday recently, and we went to go visit them for that. Like, their birthday was in, like, the last 3 to 4 weeks. And we probably haven't seen Peas for longer than that. Come to think of it. Like, I just sat down and right as Shark said, because Shark said incorrect, I stopped and I thought about it for a second. I'm like, right, the last time we saw Domino was for their birthday. And their birthday was sometime within either late March or early April. That much I remember for sure. And we stopped by their stream on their birthday for that purpose. And we probably have not been to Peas longer. In the period of time since then, I don't think we've been by Peas yet. I know for sure because I just took Domino off cooldown. There's also that. So we're going to go hang out with Peas SMB. Let me make sure that I spelled that correctly and I don't embarrass myself. Yes. So we're going to go hang out with Peas SMB. He does a variety of games. He's also like a really good speedrunner for things like Super Monkey Ball and things like that. But right now, it looks like he's playing some Puyo Puyo Puzzle Pop because it looks like a new update just dropped. Normally, like when we go hang out with Peas, he's like being a goon in Mario Kart with his friends, but it looks like that's not really happening tonight. But no, they're doing he's doing Puzzle Pop. So we're gonna go hang out with Peas SMB. Give him an SH says raids when we get in there. Throw him all your favorite emotes and stuff like that. Let him know who sent you. Quick things. TLDR. Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. I don't really know what we're playing. Maybe Under Night or something. I'm going to do games giveaways. I have keys to give away on Friday. Don't miss those. You want to be here for that. Sunday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. We continue playing Breath of Fire 4. Next Wednesday... Well, by the time next Wednesday comes around, I'll have some nice new news to tell y'all. Things that may like get people's blood pumping and get y'all excited. So yeah, be on the eyes for that. It'll probably show up on co-host as well when I'm able to talk about it. So stay safe, y'all. Wash your hands, wear a mask, don't go tight if you don't have to. Be excellent to each other, but not too bigots, racist, turfs, sexists, anti-queer folks, Zionists, and people who get a kind of way when, you know, students exercise their right to protest on campus, and then, you know, stinky cops start doing stinky cop things because certain people don't like that. It is the people's right to protest, and it is both uncivil and unjust to use the police to break those actions up, especially if it is students who are exercising those rights. Just saying. This is your reminder, related to that Palestine, Congo, and the Sudan must all be free. Trans rights are human rights, and bodily rights are universal rights. That's pretty much the long and short of it. Or reproductive rights are human rights. That's it. Bodily and reproductive rights are human rights. It's just kind of what it is. So, thank y'all for being here. Thank y'all for the support. Thank y'all for coming out. I deeply appreciate it. Let's go bother Peace for a bit, yeah? Take care. Till next time I see you, whenever that is. Bye.